Welcome to the Barstool College Football Show, Week 10 of college football. We are back in studio in Chicago. We were on the road last week in Madison. Dan, incredible crowd.
Incredible crowd.
Madison's always the best.
Stuck in the game, played tough. I'm bullish about where Luke Fickell has the program pointed. I know Dave thinks that they stink. They kept with Ohio State. I mean, that was a 7-point game in the fourth quarter. Big Ev, I know for a fact he'll pretend that he wasn't a little nervous. He was definitely nervous because Ohio State's offense stinks. Kyle McCord stinks. Marvin Harrison Jr. is awesome. Everyone else stinks. They're in for a bad game against Michigan. I'll say that right now. Yeah, what? What?
No, this is Big Ev's time.
What did I also say? Ricardo Hallman.
I don't remember.
I said that before the game. Ricardo Hallman. He picked off Kyle McCord. He did a good job. They were basically, Ohio State had the game plan to get Marvin Harrison off of him. That kid is a stud.
I mean, Travion Henderson ran for, 150 yards?
Yeah, he ran well, but they got to score. You got to score
yards.
touchdowns. It was a 7-point game in the fourth quarter.
They got a really good defense. Offense had a bad day for sure.
We're on our second quarterback.
Horsecock Lock?
Horsecock Lock.
He's good.
So the last time we were in studio, at the very end of the show, is when the stuff with Michigan started to break. Then we were on the road, obviously.
That's been 2 weeks that stuff's been breaking?
So Dave, I'm going to just give the floor to you because every single day there's more stuff that comes out about this Michigan Connor Stallions situation, the Michigan Manifesto. You're obviously wearing the Manifesto shirt. How are you feeling about everything that's going on with your program right now?
Great.
Just great.
Well, I
mean, there was a coaches-only meeting in the Big Ten last night where all the Big Ten coaches got together.
I don't blame them. Listen, if you're staring down the barrel of a loaded gun, I do whatever I can to get that gun out of the guy's hands. So, yes, Crying Ryan Day and James Franklin are going to plead and do whatever they can to get this done now because they want no part of us on the field, and that's what this is all about. So, of course, listen, if they didn't feel like Michigan was a threat to beat the ever-living piss out of them, you think they'd be like, we need this done now? We need this done now?
I would like to just interject for a second. We got 4 Big Ten guys on this panel. Mm-hmm. Dave, Michigan, me, Wisconsin, Buckeye, Brandon, and Big Ev. I would like to right now, here and now, and I think I know Luke Fickell very well, I would like to disavow that coaches meeting because, listen, Michigan probably cheated. You can't have a coaches meeting trying to kick out the team that has literally not lost a Big Ten game in almost 3 calendar years. I disavow. Go beat them. Go beat them.
Brandon.
Harbaugh should be gone.
Crazy.
But go beat them.
If
that is loser shit. That is loser shit.
Of course it is. It's crime. Let me tell you this.
The 3 years of winning.
I was told I couldn't say anything, but I got a screenshot of a tweet, and they're like, please don't use it. But one of my good friends is very good friends with Chris Day. He's the one who runs the investigative services firm out of New Hampshire. And he says, see Portnoy theory about Chris? Yeah, laugh out loud. The one from 2 days ago, or is this a new one? They talked about on Pick'em. I saw a Jack Mack video. Let's just say these guys aren't that far off. I'll tell you tomorrow. There was random guys who flew and stayed with us in Notre Dame, all with binoculars looking for somebody. Never seen these guys before. Ohio State's scared out of their mind.
So what you're saying is the proof you have is Ohio State, Chris Day going to Notre Dame and trying to catch Michigan cheating?
Listen,
the fact that was necessary should tell you something.
Please change the word cheating to gamesmanship. And let's take this Central Michigan thing, right?
Where the guy wouldn't even show his face on camera. He would hide like a fucking coward. Like,
Buckeye Brandon. What is the difference between standing on the sidelines versus just buying a 4th row ticket?
There is a gigantic difference, and you can't have said that seriously, where he's standing there wearing sunglasses at 8 o'clock at night with a fucking camera in him. If it didn't work, he wouldn't have done it.
What is the difference?
If he didn't work, it wouldn't have done it. He's closer to the action. He can see right across the field. He's got the goddamn camera in. It's a much clearer point of view.
From why? Cameras are pretty strong. You can zoom in.
Motherfucker. We're really doing this stupid shit.
No, I'm unbiased.
If it didn't work, Dave, he wouldn't have done it.
Brandon, I'm unbiased here. I think Michigan obviously is going to get penalized.
Good.
I think that the lengths they went to is pretty ridiculous. But at the end of the day, it does come down to the fact that Michigan is killing everyone. Everyone's crying about it. I don't like this. It's loser talk. You change the signs.
Losers. They're losers.
But everyone knew that they were cheating, so change the signs.
But Connor Stallions got hired. They immediately started winning.
Okay, but change the signs. TCU changed the signs. TCU had a dummy guy.
But Ohio State has changed the signs multiple times. That's why against Notre Dame, they had to try to find the guy who was stealing the new signs.
I don't know.
Let me ask you this, Brandon. Let me ask you this. And I've said this, and I don't want to be repetitive, but I have said this. Everybody always says sign stealing is part of the game. We've heard every coach say it over and over and over. So we have this guy, Connor Stallions, who, as I've said, is a Marine, and thank you for your service. But this guy, no other school has somebody like him who seems to be so dedicated, singularly focused to bringing Michigan to dominance. All the way, you don't find guys coming out of like high school. He's like, you know what? I can go to Michigan, but I'm actually going to go to the Naval Academy. And because he studied, who else has gone there? Oh, like Belichick and I did Saban, maybe all these great coaches who have gone to military institutes. So he's like, I'm going to go here because I think it best prepares me for Michigan. He literally takes classes in code breaking, all because signals, and this is all gamesmanship. But he becomes so good at it. Everyone knows they're doing it. They're doing dummy stuff, this, that. The only thing we're being penalized for is he is actually better than his competition at because he's studied his whole life, and he's being penalized for being great at it. That's it.
I don't know if there's ever been somebody that loves their school or their team as much as Connor Stallion loves Michigan.
Brandon,
well, it's the combo, KAYCE. You need somebody who loves the school that much, which we have, and he's clearly a very bright,
We're
intelligent
glorifying
guy.
a guy for cheating his ass
And then you
off.
have the guy at Mississippi State who may be ringing the cowbell with one tooth and has two working brain cells, and he can't figure out what 1 + 1 = 2. So we're being penalized for being a more intellectual program.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a simple question, because this is how I'm judging this whole thing. And again, I think Michigan will get suspensions. I think some are deserved, but at the end of the day, if Mississippi State was doing this,
I've asked him this a million times.
Would you be okay with it? Because if Wisconsin was doing this, I would be like, yes, finally.
Yes. Dan, I've asked the same things. I've said if A&M was doing it, I would be so happy.
Right.
You've never answered
so that's
me.
my
Will you answer
test.
him?
No, first of all,
if Mississippi State was doing this and winning games, you would be like, "Oh, stop, please."
College football is important to me.
You're trying.
College football is very important to me. It's important to my life, but not as important as decency and honor and integrity. And I actually believe that. Not like a lot of people at this company. I believe that. So no, I do not put integrity below cheating in football.
Did he say you would kill your mom for a national championship?
If it were, huh?
You said you would.
I did not say I would kill my mother for a national championship. I said if she died and we won a national title, I would be fine with that. That's what I said.
How'd she die?
Huh?
How'd she die?
That's neither here nor there. That's somebody else's question. But Dave, if it wasn't a big deal, why did he wear a disguise?
He's addicted to it. He's addicted to it.
Because he's a Marine.
No,
he's lived his life in a stealth mode.
I mean, the guy wrote a 600-page manifesto. So we obviously are all going to be in different sides of this, but we do know that it's gotten ridiculous. It's become a funny story.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Funny for
weeks. We're actually all on the same side. Buckeye Brandon and Fat Ev can't admit it that they know this has nothing to do with what happens on the field. We're better than them, and if Michigan didn't rise to dominance, nobody's be saying a word. And it's gamesmanship that we are better than they are at it. It's no different than Spygate. Once you start winning, people look for anything. And by the way, I'm not mad that
you've won nothing.
Well, two Big Ten championships, and we're gonna win the whole thing this year.
Can't win a playoff game.
Here's what I say, and I'm not mad at Crying Ryan for hiring his brother to do this investigative thing. This is what it is. This is international espionage. Crying Ryan can't beat us to the field. His only hope is to get Michigan disqualified, because if he shows up November 25th in Ann Arbor, he's going to get blitzed, humiliated, degraded, and it's going to happen. And now at least Buckeye Bryan and Fat Ev are going to be like, well, they had our signs, except you know it's coming. And if you can't change the signs now, then you two deserve each other in kindergarten.
What Dave is saying, and I actually agree with this, you should be excited about this, because Ohio State, your guys' beloved Ohio State,
the Big F's
your beloved Ohio State has a chance if they beat Michigan in the last week of the season, Michigan looks like the biggest fools of all time.
I mean, without
they're
cheating, I
going
don't think
to.
they can beat Penn State.
That's the one thing that Dave is leaving out is that conveniently they started winning in the Big Ten once they started doing this. He's failed to bring that up. The timeline matches up perfectly with that happening.
They did win before COVID as well.
Not to this level.
Not to
they
this
did.
level, but they did. Yeah, I mean,
not against
they were
Ohio
winning
State.
10 games a year.
Not
make
against
the
Ohio
playoffs.
State, though.
I'm saying, like,
We
it
got the
wasn't like-
guys.
You got the cheaters.
Yeah, they started
Well,
cheating
we'll see.
and lying.
Listen, I put it all on the line. I've said whoever this is the no excuse bowl, the most important November 25th game in the history of Michigan Ohio State, because when whoever loses is going to have nobody to blame but themselves. Look in the mirror. It's going to validate the last 2 seasons or the complaints. I'm saying that. That's the blood oath I took with you, Buckeye Brandon. Fat Ev, I do the same. Once we beat you, then what? Because this thing's just like the Patriots when they won the Super Bowl. Same exact thing. Oh, it's this. All right, well, we just went and won the Super Bowl when all these things are out the window. So when it happens, I don't want to hear a word about it. You're just going to have to sit there and admit we're your daddy.
I'm the only one who's being honest here of the whole panel.
I'm being honest.
No,
I'm saying I
being
ain't
honest.
anything
I'll
to do
even
with it.
agree with him there. No,
Because
this
if
game is-
Ohio State did it, Dave would criticize Ohio State. I have no dog in this fight, and I wish Wisconsin was
But
doing this.
I feel the exact
Maybe
same way.
KC too. We're the only
I
ones
would
who are being
love
honest.
if A&M was winning games and they were like, well, it's because somebody's smart enough and loves A&M enough to do what is happening. Now, here's
Just
the
wish we had a
question,
living
Dan.
coach.
Do what?
I would 100% be criticizing Michigan. I mean, if Ohio State, if they did it,
Yes.
I've been there. That is the crazy thing about this. The dynamics, if you told me 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, the dynamics have changed so much where Crying Ryan and all of Ohio need to grasp at these conspiracy theories. It's incredible how it has changed. Michigan is now the bully. We walk down the street, Ohio State sees us coming, they jump in a dumpster and hide. It's crazy how this has changed. I love it. I'd be doing the same thing. These excuses are the last refuge of an absolute loser.
Dan, here's the question, because we know that there's probably going to be some sort of consequences coming, but do you think that they come fast enough for this season? That's
No.
the issue. It's like,
We're
so
still investigating COVID things. So
right.
no.
So it's like, even if they have to eventually vacate wins, which I don't think they're going to have to do, if like suspensions, all of that, if Michigan still wins this year, it's not going to matter
Well,
because
the only way, the NCAA does not go that fast. So if the
Right.
NCAA is the one that acts on it, no, that's a no. If the Big Ten decides, too much is going on, the Big Ten could step in. That's the only way they get punished this year if the Big Ten does it themselves.
And again, on the Big Ten stepping in. Okay. If you're James Franklin and Crying Ryan in Ohio State and you think this is the reason, why would you want them to step in? You have your chance to prove it on the field because they know they're going to get fucking dominated and they're going to zip it.
You just said the words, why would they want somebody to step in when they got cheated multiple years? Why would they want that to stop? That's what you just asked?
Right now, it's like a fist fight. Listen, you can go court of law. Somebody in your mind screws you or does you wrong. You have the opportunity. Oh, you can take them to court and lawsuits, or you can get in a ring with them and punch them in the face. They can punch them they don't want to. They don't want to punch him in the face, Buckeye Brandon, because they know what happens. They're going to get their nose busted into their brain and die.
All right.
we'll see what happens.
We'll see.
You said we have to start down?
Ed can't even talk. He's paralyzed with fear. He hasn't said a word.
I mean, everything you're saying is just blah, 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 blah. It's just nonsense. You don't even believe what you're saying. Like you
What
said, if it
don't
was
I
the other way
believe?
around, you'd be saying the same thing. Conveniently, you started cheating. You won a couple of games against us. I've made no excuses about the games. I agree with you. You said a blood oath on November 25th. We'll see what really matters. We'll see what really happens. Was it really cheating, or did you just beat us? We'll find out. I'll be in Miami on your couch. We'll see what happens.
All right, it's time to get into the High Noon Game Day package. As we announced last week, the new High Noon pack, the El Prez pack with the new flavor Tangerine. Dave, I know we had them when we were in Madison. I've been drinking them all week. The Tangerine is unbelievable. You did such a good job on this pack. And it actually is not just because it's your pack. It's actually because it's very good.
Yeah, no, Tangerine's actually my favorite we got. Number one, I ranked them yesterday, made a little electric video. So it's tangerine, passion fruit, pineapple, pear. That's how I rank them. So yeah, go get them. They should be rolling out. If you can't find them, you'll be able to find them soon. But it's a great. I mean, they're my favorite flavors. So obviously, I love it.
They are very, very good. You can go to highnoonspirits.com to find the El Press Pack. Of course, we've got the tequila. We have all the flavors to go out and find, but the new limited edition Press Pack is available. Let's start with Bedlam. Number 9, Oklahoma, and number 22, Oklahoma State. Oklahoma right now favored by 5.5. The over-under at 60.5. And Brandon, I will start with you because, last week we were on the road. Oklahoma loses to Kansas. You got to do your victory lap as well. You should. Oklahoma State, though, is a very interesting case because early in the season, they lost. They look really bad. They're having a really good season. This is they're 6-2. It's the last Bedlam for a long time with Oklahoma going to the SEC. Are you taking it a step further? Is Oklahoma as fraudulent as losing to Oklahoma State in Bedlam?
I don't think that's fraudulent. I think Oklahoma State's a better football team. Oklahoma State lost by 26 to South Alabama. They changed everything. Ollie Gordon is one of the best players in the country right now. He's got like 900 yards over the last 4 games. He's fantastic. Oklahoma's defense can't really stop the run. Kansas gashed them all day. Oklahoma State is going to win this game. Oklahoma State is better than Oklahoma. And we all assumed when Oklahoma beat Texas that we're headed towards the rematch. No. If Oklahoma State wins this game, they're going to play for the Big 12 Conference Championship, and I think they are going to win this game.
Yeah, and we'll talk about Texas in a little bit, but multiple big games in the Big 12 because it's all of a sudden a little bit more wide open than we thought. Dan, I personally don't think that Oklahoma is fraudulent. Obviously, losing to Kansas was not good for them, but I think that this team is still pretty damn good. Where do you stand on that?
I disagree. Yeah, I have Oklahoma State as well. It's bullshit. This game's being played at 2:30 in the afternoon. It should be a night game. It's the last Bedlam. It's sad that they're going to not play Bedlam. Bedlam is so old, they started playing Bedlam before Oklahoma became a state. That's how old Bedlam is.
That's crazy.
That's how old Bedlam is. So it's very sad for me. But I think Oklahoma State's going to win this game. I do think Oklahoma is fraudulent. And Oklahoma State had a tough September. They've completely turned it around. They've been playing really good football. Their bye week came at a perfect time. They figured out their offense. I have Oklahoma State in this game. And the over because I have to.
Dave?
I'm a little alarmed that I'm on the same side as everybody else. It almost makes me think it's a little bit of a rat game. I had Kansas outright last week, so I was all over that. I think it's going to be a very close game. I think this will be a memorable last Bedlam. I think there's going to be points. So I'm on Oklahoma State in the over.
Anytime these rivalries die like this, it's always sad to see, not even just if you're in the state of Oklahoma, just as college football fans in general, but we know Oklahoma State does not want to play Oklahoma moving forward. We'll see if that ever happens. I personally think Oklahoma is going to win this game, and it's not because I'm Boomer Sooner, Dave. It's because I do think that they are still a good football team. I think Dylan Gabriel's going to be able to put up points. I do think it's going to be much closer. If you would have asked me, in September, I would have said they would have won by 50. It's going to be close, but I'm going to take Oklahoma.
Well, you can't think they're that good because they lost to Kansas the week before. They could have lost to what, UCF?
UCF, yeah.
But the Big 12 in general to me is like, I don't know who's going to end up in the Big 12 championship. I still think it's going to come down to Oklahoma and Texas, but 5.5 points, it's not like I'm saying they're going to win by 3 touchdowns.
So when you say they're pretty good, you mean pretty good for the Big 12?
Yes. Like I don't think that they are a fraudulent
because
team.
when you say they're a pretty good team, like I do
think that they're a pretty good team. They beat Texas, who beat Alabama. They're pretty good.
Well, I don't know that we can do that game.
Well, but that happened, right? I mean, they beat Texas.
Well, it happened, but it's transitive property.
But that's still
correct. Good use of transitive
whenever we
property.
get to the college football playoffs, they do use transitive property to say.
Well, we don't. We're not on the committee. We're just idiots.
So do you have Texas over Alabama in your top 10, or do you have Alabama over Texas?
I'll have to look at my top 10.
And you have Texas.
I honestly don't remember. I honestly don't remember.
Okay, all I'm saying is I don't think that we can just throw out wins just because it's transitive property.
But
I'm not saying that they're going to win the national title.
Texas beats Alabama like early. Oklahoma, since they've played Texas, has not looked good. So, I mean, teams change during the course of the year.
They absolutely do, but I don't think it's fair to say that they're a bad or fraudulent team when they beat Texas. That's all I'm saying.
I didn't say bad for you. You said you still think they're
because
really
Dan
good
and Brandon
team.
said they were fraudulent. I'm saying I don't. I think that they are a pretty good football team. They beat Texas.
I think they're the most fraudulent team in the country.
Like that.
Okay, that's fair.
That's
you know what? We're all entitled to our opinions here. Mm-hmm. We'll see.
I got to get Casey's list of really good football teams.
How many are there?
Then I can judge.
How many are there?
I said pretty good.
How many pretty good teams are there?
Can I make a list?
Yeah,
I'll make a list.
Yes, I'd love to see a pretty good list.
Let's move on, but
I would say the top 15 teams in the country are pretty good football teams. No.
Okay, well
and they're
then fine.
And they're a top 15 team in the country.
Then I have no problem with that.
Okay, top 15 team, pretty good teams. I didn't say great. I didn't say they'd win a national title. I said they're pretty good. Let's move to the next game in the Big 12. That's obviously another big game for the Big 12 championship. Number 23, Kansas State at number 7, Texas. Texas right now favored by 4.5. The over-under at 49.5. Dan, we know that Malik Murphy is going to be playing. He got his feet wet last week. Quinn Ewers is hurt. And Kansas State is rolling. Kansas State right now also 6-2. So again, the Big 12 is very interesting. Do you buy Texas in this spot?
So this is my rat line of the week. I can't get myself to bet Texas. I'm going to take the over, but I am feeling like everyone is falling in love with Kansas State to a point that it doesn't make a ton of sense to me. They beat Texas Tech, TCU, and Houston. Those are three of the worst teams in the Big 12. It feels like everyone's like Kansas State. This is going to be the spot that they pick off Texas. I don't know. I'm going to take the over, so it's kind of a cop-out, but there's something in the back of my head that keeps saying Texas is going to be up for this game. This is their last big test before the Big 12 championship game. I know Kansas State has been playing great, the 2-quarterback system.
I'll be right back.
It keeps bugging me because Kansas State's killed teams, but they've been the worst teams.
Can I ask you a question about this game? Because if you've noticed, I circled both teams. This game is killing me.
Right.
But you're taking the over.
Yeah.
Doesn't that total look weird? 49.5. Isn't that too low?
Yeah, no, I think this is going to be a game no matter what I pick, I'm going to lose.
Okay, you've accepted that you're probably going to lose.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because if I take Texas, Kansas State will win. If I take Kansas State, it's going to be an obvious Texas game.
Can I just throw this at you? If I bet on Kansas State and I bet on Texas, I'm going to win, right?
Yeah, that's true. Hit the all button.
So I might hit the all
And
over
and
and
the over and the under.
Yeah.
So I like Texas. I think Texas is the best team out there. I think Texas is a very good team. It's their backup quarterback. They didn't look good against Houston a couple weeks ago, but they did look good with their backup quarterback last week. Kansas State looks a hell of a lot better than they did.
And Texas,
but they've also played a bunch of trash cans.
Yeah. Doesn't it feel though that everyone is like Kansas State? It's almost like a foregone conclusion that Kansas State has won this game.
But it's a dangerous spot for Texas. If Quinn Ewers,
I don't know about dangerous spot. They know this game is everything because they don't have anything else.
It's not really about what they have. It's about that they have to play this game and this team with a backup quarterback.
I understand.
And that's the danger part of it.
But Brandon, before you make your pick, but remember, it might be dangerous, but Malik Murphy also may be potentially playing for the team that he's going to play for next year when they start Arch Manning. So this means a lot to him as well.
Yeah, but they didn't let him do much last week. Like all his throws were like at the line of scrimmage. I'm gonna pick Texas. Texas. I'm gonna go Texas.
I'm gonna go Texas too.
Go Texas.
It's an 11 a.m. kickoff. You're gonna just hit the all button.
I like that switch.
What about the over or the under?
Huh? Not touching it. That number's weird. That number should not be that low in this game.
Okay, Dave, who are you taking?
I like Kansas State. Dan, I know he thinks it's a little bit of a rat. I do. It's their defense that's like got me a little bit awake. Nobody's scoring. This side note, one time when I'm doing podcasts, I'd like someone else to help me get the food when it comes in. I get a gate that doesn't work. It's incredible. I'm the only person in the world who can't get a gate that just simply opens and closes. It drives me fucking crazy. I'm going to take Kansas State.
It's Dave. It's Bosco's in my head because he has his circle as a win.
Them.
What does he have?
He has Kansas State as a win. It's
I'm
like
going
no doubter win. And I know he's got a couple weeks in a row with his locks, but when he's like no doubter win, and I was feeling that too. I was waiting all week last week, like I can't wait to bet Kansas State. And then it's just something in your head. You're like, wait, it's never this easy. It's never this easy.
Rico also, after last year, because he wanted Kansas State to be in the conversation for the playoff last year. So he's still on that.
Yes.
So it is a thing that he's doing. Okay, let's go to the Pac-12. Number 5, Washington. At number 20, USC. Washington right now favored by 3. The over-under at 76.5. Dave, I will start with you. We know that USC has struggled. Their defense has looked terrible. Washington's defense is also not been great, but it's Michael Penix Jr. versus Caleb Williams. Who are you taking?
So I think Washington has had a letdown the last few weeks after their big win against Oregon. They played 2 teams not good. They haven't looked great. Yes, I know USC, obviously, this looked like a much bigger game 2 weeks ago. I still think you just get up for USC, even if they're struggling. I think Washington gets back on track, so to speak, in terms of looking good, looking like a national title contender. So I like Washington here.
Dave? Or Dan, you love to bet the over. That's the thing. This number is so high.
You have to be perfect in this game. You have to have no minutes of no scoring. I'm going to go USC, though. I think everyone's written off USC. They've looked equally as bad. I don't know. This is another game that... Yeah, I don't know. It's a really tough game because, when you have an over this high, you're basically saying it's going to be a shootout. The volatility of this game is going to be insane. This might be my live bet game of the week, where if any team goes down 14 points, just hammer the other team because I think it's going to end up being a shootout that comes down to the last possession.
Yeah, and Brandon, like I said, we know how bad USC's defense is, but when you look at Washington, I mean, the fact that they beat Oregon is great, but their defense has not played well.
No, it hasn't been great. Dave's got a good point that Washington's had these couple of – they had those games against opponents that they knew they could kind of put it in like third gear and still win the game. But I do go with USC here because I think Lincoln Riley, he's obviously not coaching for his job, and he's obviously not coaching for his future, but I do think he's coaching to prove to USC that this thing's going the right direction. He's going to be good. It wasn't just Caleb Williams last year. So I think Lincoln Riley needs to win some games down the stretch, particularly a big game. So I'm going to go USC.
I'm going to take USC as well. Ev, you went to a USC game. How are you feeling about this team?
I mean, I said before the Notre Dame game, I thought USC would lose at least 3 more games. They've lost 2 since then. They honestly should have lost to Cal. Cal got screwed. It was a clear hold that they didn't call in the 2-point conversion. Their defense is just atrocious. They even lost, the starting, corner or safety. That was like their best secondary guy. I mean, this should be like a get-right spot for the Washington offense. I'm taking Washington.
Let's go to the big game in the SEC. Brandon, number 14 LSU at number 8 Alabama. Alabama favored by 3. The over-under at 60.5. You and I talked about it this week on Unnecessary Roughness about how everybody seems to be on LSU right now. We know how good Jaden Daniels has been, but their defense also has been struggling. How are you feeling about this game at night at Bryant-Denny?
Well, they might have the worst defense in the country, and they might have the best offense in the country. And I just said those 2 sentences knowing that I'm going to pick the under in this game. Because in these big games, Alabama's defense has been the real side that has shown up this year. Against Ole Miss, they held a great Ole Miss offense to 10 points at home. They've been a very good defense. I think they keep it under 60.5 here. That's my pick.
Dan?
I'm going to take Alabama in this game. I've been throwing this trivia question out all week, so anyone who's heard it, don't answer. Last quarterback to beat Nick Saban 2 years in a row.
I know it.
What is it?
Do you want me to say it?
Yeah.
I saw it on Twitter.
Oh, Drew Brees.
Yes, Drew Brees.
Yes.
Yeah, Drew Brees at Purdue.
I don't think that Jaden Daniels can beat him 2 years in a row.
No, that would be something. And the best defense that Jaden Daniels has played was Florida State. They didn't play very well offensively that night. They did put up numbers against a bad Ole Miss defense, a bad Arkansas defense, but Alabama's defense will be the best he's seen all year.
And I do think that Alabama has at least figured out a little something on offense in the fact that Jalen Milroe can throw a good deep ball. And you saw it in the second half against Tennessee, taking a couple shots.
Jermaine Burton's been good.
Their defense obviously was a big reason why they just squished Tennessee in the second half. And it comes down to who's going to get a stop in the fourth quarter. Give me Alabama over LSU in that scenario.
Brandon, just to clarify, you're just taking the under. You're not.
I'm taking the under, yeah.
You're taking so you're not going to.
If you made me pick a side, I would pick Alabama.
Okay. Dave?
So I thought a couple weeks ago at LSU, I said my hot take: LSU will beat Alabama, go to the Big 12, go to the SEC championship and win it. I no longer think that. I think Alabama's turned the corner a little bit. I still think glaring problem is LSU's defense. I'm taking Alabama here.
Yeah, this is, I guess, scary because we're all doing it, but I'm going to take Alabama. I know, only 3 points, but it is.
Under.
Yeah, you said
You
that.
did.
She made me say Alabama.
Yeah.
I didn't make you. I was just curious. I was just clarifying for the graphics what you were taking, but I am going to take Alabama. Okay, in the SEC East, number 12 Missouri at number 2 Georgia. Georgia favored by 15.5. The total at 54.5. Dave, I will start with you. Missouri has had a very good season. They're 7-1. Georgia is rolling. Do you think that Missouri can keep this one close?
Yes, I do. I think this is going to be a letdown spot for Georgia. 12 Missouri, no. You make a face there, Brandon. I'm going to explain. Number 12, there's certain teams that I don't care what they're necessarily ranked. It's like, it's Missouri. Like if Mississippi State comes in at number 7, are you like, oh, no, it's Mississippi State. You don't take them seriously. Georgia is not going to take Missouri seriously. I believe they're coming off the world's greatest cocktail party. I forget they have Tennessee and somebody else good the next 2 weeks.
They have Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. So you do take an Ole Miss seriously. So to me, yeah, I know they're 12. I don't think you're going to get the A+ effort from Georgia. I do think you'll get the A+ effort from Missouri. So I do think they keep this game close. More of a lack of attention from the Bulldogs. I like the points, Missouri.
Brandon?
Okay, so theoretically what he just said kind of works, but Georgia is the opposite. They prove this theory wrong. Because Georgia, every time they get a chance to play one of these upstart teams that comes into Athens, they beat the shit out of them. Last year, Tennessee came in. Tennessee's number 1 in the country. They beat them 27-13, but they controlled that game.
Well, Tennessee is not Missouri.
Okay? I'll give you a couple teams that are Missouri. 2 years ago, Arkansas started 6-0. They walk into Athens. They get beat 37-0. They couldn't get a first down. This year, 5-0 Kentucky. They're ranked in the top 15. They go to Athens. They can't get a first down. They get killed. Missouri is a team that is riding as high as they've ever ridden. Georgia loves putting these teams in the fucking dirt and doing it fast. I think Georgia destroys Missouri. And I've been on Missouri all year. I said Missouri would win 9 or 10 games in May. I like Missouri. They're not ready for Georgia when Georgia's fired up, and I think Georgia will be fired up.
Well, and that's why I was going to say that, because it's not like you're saying, oh, Missouri is a bad team, Missouri stinks.
They're
Like, you
fine
have
team.
been very, very high on them. You like their wide receiver a lot, maybe one of the best in the country, but you are looking at this Georgia team and saying they're just that much better.
In these fuck you spots, Georgia has a fuck you mode. They did it to Arkansas 2 years ago, Kentucky earlier this year, and I think it fits the mold here with Missouri.
And Dan, what's interesting too is a lot of people talk about how easy Georgia's schedule was going into this season. It's actually looked a lot tougher now at the end of the season because they are playing number 12 Missouri. They have Ole Miss. Do you think that this is a spot that they can get caught up a little bit?
No, I think Georgia has the switch. They've done it pretty well. I'm taking the over, though, in this game. Georgia's offense has been, when they hit the switch, they score. And I think Mizzou's offense is going to be able to get in the 20s here. So a 35-20, that's a nice over right there, somewhere around there. So, yeah, I like the over in this game.
Ev, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm taking Georgia in the over. I think it's a squish spot, but I agree with Dan. Mizzou's offense is pretty good.
Yeah.
They'll score a few points, but I think Michigan ends up. Mizzou's defense is bad. They've let up a ton of points.
What'd you just say?
He's
What'd you just
Michigan
say?
so in his
Oh, my
head.
goodness.
Yeah, I
That he
know.
said Michigan by accident.
That's a bad look, Big Al.
My God.
He
said
seeing-
Michigan.
I said they were bad.
He's seeing Connor
They're just
Stallions in the
swirling
shadows.
around
no.
in
Yeah.
Big Ev's
I said they were
head.
bad.
The boogeyman, Connor Sosa, Kaiser Sose, everywhere you go, he's a spook story. Big Ev can't get us out of his mind.
That's tough,
Michigan,
Ev.
Michigan.
Oh, no.
The first thing you see when you wake up, the last thing you see when you go to bed, Michigan.
I can't wait to kick
Michigan.
your- I mean, we're gonna kick your
Michigan.
ass. We're going to kick your
Michigan.
ass.
Michigan. He's so scared. Even when we pan to him, he's like, Michigan.
Literally
Michigan.
saying Michigan is bad and they're going to get squished.
Yeah.
It's-
Michigan.
It's so
Michigan.
easy to mess up team names, like especially when you do shows so often. It just sucks that it happened to be Michigan that you spit
Well,
out.
that way,
Georgia in the over.
Casey, that is not that what Freud calls that. What
A Freudian
what is
slip.
Yeah, that's what that was. That was not no accident. It's not like, oh, he just happened to pick that out of a hat. No, he can't stop thinking about us and worrying about November 25th. Michigan.
Yeah, that was tough.
Michigan.
That was tough.
Michigan.
I can't fucking.
It was tough. Just for the
Yeah,
sake
okay,
of the sake of the picks, I'm going to take Georgia. Let's move on to trivia with
That
Brandon.
was unbelievable.
That was tough. That was tough. All right, Brandon, what's your trivia this week?
All right, here is the trivia. And if you've been off Twitter, I think this is level impossible if you
mean,
didn't see.
Why do you do this knowing that Dan and Ev are going to be the
It's
only ones
level
that play?
impossible if you didn't happen to see this tweet the other day, but if you did see it, it might be a little easier. Anyway, we've been going on now 10 years of the college football playoff. Name the 5 teams, a lot of answers here. Name the 5 teams that have never, ever once been ranked in the college football playoff committee's top 25.
It's obviously Power 5.
All Power 5. Yes, Power 5 teams. Excuse
All
me.
right, I got 3 off the top of my head. I don't know if we can workshop this, Ev. But I got 3 no
everybody can
doubters.
throw one out there.
I
It's
got
gonna be a
3
group
no
activity.
doubters.
You know that Dave and I are.
I
really
actually
bad
have
at
4
trivia.
no doubters
name
now
one.
that I'm thinking of it.
Vanderbilt,
That is 1.
I got Vandy, Rutgers.
Yep.
Maryland,
Yep.
Everybody got their answer right?
Cal.
You saw the tweet.
No, I really didn't.
You saw the tweet. You could have just said you saw the tweet.
What, there's
I
gotta
didn't see
be a
the tweet.
big-
Who
You could have said
tweeted
you
it?
saw the
Who
tweet.
I really didn't.
You could have said you saw the tweet.
I swear
There's
on our
gotta be a Big 12
podcast,
team,
I have
right?
not seen the tweet.
Right now, I'm going to work with Ev on this. Right now, I have Cal, Vanderbilt, Maryland, Rutgers. There's got to be,
Those 4 are correct.
Kansas has been good enough.
Kansas right
Kansas
now.
State has been, Kansas State has been good enough. Iowa State.
Has Tech been that good in the last 10 years?
I like that one. I'm just going through all the names. Duke's been good enough.
Tech is the one that's came to my head that
See?
I don't know if they've been that good.
Syracuse has been ranked.
I only get 4. I only have 4.
Is-
The
is it-
answers are Cal, Vanderbilt, Maryland, Rutgers, and Big F,
Texas Tech?
Texas Tech.
Nice
Oh,
one. Ev.
nice.
Nice one.
Nice.
Damn, I can't believe
Okay.
Texas Tech.
Who tweeted that?
Brett McMurphy.
Okay.
That's a good trivia question.
Yeah, it is.
I couldn't get the 5th.
It's a nice little workshop. Let's go to the Pizza Hut take of the week. Pizza Hut may not have invented pizza, but they sure did make it famous. Whether it's a team celebration or just a casual get-together with friends, no one out-pizzas the Hut. Order now. Dave, what is your Hut take for week 10 of college football?
I think this is a little bit of a hot take with everything going around right now. And I know everyone's like, oh, this just turned into a Michigan-Ohio show. I'm sorry, Michigan is national news with this scandal or whatever you want to call it. Jim Harbaugh will far outlast Ryan Day at the two schools. In fact, I think Ryan Day will be bye-bye after this year.
It is a hot take.
He currently has the number 1 team in the country.
And Brandon, they're a 7-point underdog in the look-ahead line.
It's hard to get rid of a guy that's just
It's also hard to
making it
have
to
a
the
look-ahead
playoffs.
line. It's hard to have a look-ahead line for a
does
team
that
that's
matter?
played nobody.
Yeah, it just keeps making the playoff.
Like Ohio State's played anybody. They got Rutgers this week. What's that?
They've beaten multiple teams in the top 15 right now. Multiple teams.
UNLV almost broke into the top 25. And I know you were watching. I was watching late.
Almost doesn't cut it.
Almost
Sorry.
broke into the top 25.
Almost.
I mean, Ohio State is number
schedule in the
1 in the
country.
playoff rankings because of their
Harbaugh,
resume.
who are we Harbaugh's going to be gone after this year.
He's going to be the
He
Bears.
said he's out. Gone.
Michigan.
Last season. This is it.
Michigan.
That's not a hot take. He's out.
Michigan.
Dan, I know you really
Michigan.
want Harbaugh in Chicago,
I
so
want Harbaugh to coach.
Yo, fruitcake guys.
Bad.
Is there a report that he's asking about the
It
Bears?
was just a fake, like one of those.
That's
fake,
a report.
Yeah,
That's a report.
Hey.
Listen,
Yeah.
I quote tweeted it to try to get everyone talking about it. I know what I'm doing.
All right.
Dan,
The actual report, the Wall Street Journal said Michigan wouldn't extend the contract, and then the president of the school is being like, we're trying to fast track. This is our man for life.
If they were trying to fast track it, wouldn't they just announce that it was done? How hard is it to fast track a contract?
Are you aware of how detailed contracts are and legalities? You do have to work that stuff out, Walker.
negotiations, yeah. Okay, Dan, what's your hot take?
My hot take, now I know there's still a lot of ball left, but I made a switch last week. I talked about it on Pick'em. I can say it here. I had taken the Washington Huskies at 18-1 to win the national title. After they beat Oregon, I cashed out for a profit and I switched to Oregon to win the national title at 25-1. They went and bullied Utah. They are now 12-1. I think Oregon is very much live to win the national title this year. I think they're going to get in, and I think they can beat any team.
I like that. Brandon, hot
Bo
take?
Nix has played more. I think he officially passed
He
it. He played more games than anyone at quarterback in college football history.
2 weeks ago,
56 games started.
Yes.
Yeah, he passed Sam Hartman.
The man knows how to play college football.
He does.
I think that's a fantastic switch.
I like-
'Cause
I like that too.
It already paid off.
Oregon is better than
I
Washington.
could cash out Oregon right now. I'm not going to, but yeah, Oregon's 12-1, Washington's 14-1. So Washington went backwards.
Brandon, your hut take.
So the one I wrote down and gave Blackman last night, I'm actually going to change it. So don't even put up my graphic because I'm changing it right here.
Okay.
In the Heisman odds right now, you've got the guy at Michigan who hasn't played anybody falsely in the front of it. You've got Jaden Daniels up there.
Say his name, Buckeye
I don't
Brandon.
remember. I don't even remember. I haven't even watched the game he's played in. So anyway, I got a name at 25-1. It was 25-1 on Monday. I don't think it's changed. Carson Beck of Georgia.
It's good.
Carson Beck is very good. He throws for 325, 350 yards every week. Brock Bowers got hurt. Didn't matter. He threw for 315 last week against Florida, 3 touchdowns. He is fantastic. And they've got, not only do they have number 12 Missouri this week, they got number 10 Ole Miss in a couple weeks. And then they play Alabama with the last statement, or probably Alabama. They play Alabama for the last statement before the Heisman Committee in the championship game. This guy is worth a flyer at 25-1. He is very good, and he could win the Heisman.
Yeah, I like that pick.
It's good. Ev, your hot take?
My take is this year, it's been like the year of parity, the year that we need a 12-team playoff, all this. My hot take is it's going to end up being the same 4 teams that it usually is. The other conference is going to cannibalize themselves. It's going to be Ohio State. I think Bama's going to beat Georgia in the conference championship. It's going to be Georgia, Bama, and they'll probably throw Michigan a bone, even though I haven't played anybody. They'll lose to Ohio State, still get in. Same 4
Michigan will not get in if they lose to Ohio State.
Definitely not.
Or I'd say
Definitely
worse than
not.
Oregon, who they have made the
Well,
playoff.
Florida State still exists.
No,
saying
Oregon
I think
would
they're
get in
gonna
over Michigan. If they both have 1 loss, Oregon would absolutely
Yeah.
get in over Michigan.
No, that I
Yeah.
do. I'm saying they still have some tough games left.
You're saying that
your
He's saying they
hot
might
take,
not have 1 loss, is what he's saying.
but your hot take depends on Ohio State beating Michigan, because Ohio State could potentially get in if Michigan beats them.
just like last year.
Michigan can't get in
Right.
if
Well,
Ohio
I'm saying,
State
but then
beats them.
in that take, the take would still be correct.
What
you're saying is that all the other conferences are going to cannibalize
Yes, that's what
themselves.
I'm basically saying that
Yes.
Texas is going to
What about
cannibalize
Florida
itself. I said that was my hot take last week.
Florida State.
you think the ACC, the Pac-12, and the Big 12
I think they're
will
going
eat
to drop one
themselves.
to either. I think they're going to drop to at Miami, in Gainesville, or the conference championship.
Okay, so when it is Oregon, Florida State, Georgia, and Michigan, we need a retraction.
Yeah, if that happens, I mean, obviously I'll say I'm
Can you have a retraction after it's already been proven to be false? Don't you have to retract before it's false?
Oh yeah, that's true.
Well, but it's also his hot take. It's supposed to be
It's
hot.
hot take.
I'm saying the hot take
Okay.
that all these teams that they've been
Hot
like
takes.
Texas
Hot
and
take.
Florida State, that they're all going to kind of just eat themselves alive. The conference can eat themselves alive.
Sure.
I don't even know if this is a hot take or not, but I think Clemson fans might be the most selfish fans in college football. I think that they might actually be the worst. This whole thing with Dabo, and I know, Brandon, you are not a big Dabo guy. The fact that you were on Dabo's side this week, he's got a guy calling in asking how he gets paid so much money, $11.5 million a year to go 4-4. Clemson fans won national titles within the last couple of years. Like they've won 2, and they're complaining. They're saying he shouldn't get it. Like, can you imagine, Dan, if Wisconsin had a couple national titles and were 4-4, and you were calling in to bitch at your head coach?
The only thing I would say about defending Tyler from Spartanburg is Dabo, the way it's slipping, it feels like Dabo doesn't want to adapt. So that's the only thing that you could say if you're a Clemson fan. But I agree that he's raised the bar so high that to then turn around on their first really, truly bad year and be like, you stink. It's crazy to do that. We'll see how he
Not too
adapts.
dissimilar to what I deal with the Patriots. You don't hear me trashing Belichick, and we're terrible.
But it is kind of similar. Like if Belichick doesn't, if you go another year and he doesn't adapt, then you probably will start hearing it.
Yeah, I mean, I would never trash Belichick ever. I don't know, and I think the success. It was longer with the Patriots, but the success that Clemson had, and they were not a successful program for a long ass time. I think that almost buys you infinity,
Yes.
I agree.
But-
like
1,000%.
goodwill.
I think he should be unfireable at Clemson.
But it's
2 national
But
championships.
it's the fact that I think where the frustration comes from is Dabo is very, very firm on how he doesn't want to use the transfer portal. He thinks players shouldn't get paid. Like, I think he will adapt because you have to adapt. But take Nick Saban, for example. Nick Saban has adapted in every single turn of college football. He used to win championships playing defense, running the ball. The game became a spread offense. He went and got the best wide receivers, quarterbacks, all this shit. NIL, he embraces it. Like, that's, I think, the frustration. I understand that frustration. I think it's crazy to criticize him 1 year into being bad. But if he doesn't adapt, I think then they get a little bit of a fair argument. Like, dude, you've built this thing and you're going to watch it crumble because you refuse to get with the time.
That is fair. I also asked this question earlier this week, though. Outside of Georgia and Alabama and maybe Michigan, depending on if you're actually having them tell the truth or not, any team in the country would take Dabo right now, right?
I don't know if he doesn't adapt.
No, I don't know about that.
I think I agree with it. I mean, I can't think of many teams that wouldn't want to take Dabo right now.
After the way he built Clemson up after they were
But
so
you
bad
can't
and
build
won
it the
national
same
titles.
way that he won national titles. That's my whole
Correct.
point. Is like I
fair.
don't think that criticizing him to that point in 1 year is right. It's the next couple of years. If Dabo stays with his stubborn way and he says we're only getting our guys, we're not hitting the transfer portal. We don't, name, image, and likeness is in the name, image, and likeness of God. All that shit. Then you get a fair frustration because, like, dude, that was the past. It's
How's he
a
going to break
different
the
era.
news to God that he's changing the
I don't know.
NIL?
He's going to have a long talk.
Obviously, I have the best coach in the country, so I'm set. But let's say if I did not have that, I would not want Dabo. I don't think just to say, he can adapt to. It's a totally different world.
He's got to show it.
Can I
He's got to show it.
Can I ask Dave a quick question? I know we got to move on.
Yeah.
Can you be the best coach in the country if you've been there a decade and have never won a playoff game?
Yes.
No. That's a hard no. Just the fact that you said yes should be embarrassing to you. No, obviously not.
Well, how long's NIL been going on?
Kirby Smart exists. Nick Saban exists.
I would.
Kyle Whittingham.
Kyle Whittingham. All these people exist.
How long has NIL been going on?
It's about 3 years. Also, the length of your cheating scandal.
I would like it on record. I would take Dabo.
Or maybe in this new world, Harbaugh's the perfect guy.
He hasn't won a goddamn thing in this new world.
He's won 2 Big Ten titles.
Okay, Kirby Smart's won 2
Let
national
me
titles.
tell you this, Buckeye
Kirby
Brandon.
Smart's won 2 national titles. You just said Jim Harbaugh's the best coach in the country.
Let me ask you this.
laughable.
Has Mississippi
Laughable.
State ever won the SEC?
Our coach died. Yes, 1941, right before the war. Okay, our boys were
if
getting
you
ready.
won the SEC, would you count that as a title of any sort?
What are you talking about?
If Mississippi State won the SEC, would you be, We had a great season.
But
We won
wait,
the
I would say
SEC.
it's a
I mean,
great
now we're
season.
Dave.
I love my coach.
I mean, if you want to be in the same
Dave,
sense as
isn't-
Mississippi State.
Didn't you say
sure.
Ryan Day stinks?
Yes.
He's won 2 Big Ten titles.
You also won a playoff game.
Uh-oh.
That was before Michigan was around.
Okay, but he's won 2 Big
Yeah,
Ten
Michigan
titles.
definitely wasn't around.
Jim Harbaugh was there.
Wait, listen, two Big Ten titles don't get you the Dabo. You don't need national. Right now, we are the team in the Big Ten. You keep winning Big Ten titles like they're coming off.
But Ryan Day
You just
has
said your guy was the best guy in the
Ryan Day
country.
has the same resume. if not
Ryan
better
Day
than
took
Jim
over.
Harbaugh.
Ryan
way
Day
better.
took over a program that was at the peak of its powers and have driven it right into the ground.
Okay.
You made the playoff
They're
They
last
just
year.
keep making the playoffs. Yeah, I mean, more.
Made
They've
the
done more than
playoffs.
Michigan's done.
That's only because of Michigan. Michigan's so good that they build the resume up of Ohio State.
I cannot wait for this game this year.
Yeah.
I
Every
can
single year
too.
we say that, but
I
this
can't
year
wait to. Next year, Dave's just going to be like his head in his ass the whole year. He's going to have nothing to say.
I will see. Blood oath, big boy.
For sure,
Blood oath.
100%.
Are you blood oath too?
I made a bet with Lawan last night as well.
What were the?
So the bet with Taylor is if Ohio State wins, when they win, I get to basically have a weekend get with my boys at his mansion in Nashville, do our fantasy draft with all my friends I grew up with. If somehow by fluke Ohio State loses, I have to put on Michigan gear, do the fight song for a video,
I don't even want you doing that.
and
That grosses me out.
I can't say anything bad publicly about Michigan basically the entire offseason. And the week of the game next year.
I feel like that's a loss for us.
He said that's disgusting. Let's go to the
I feel like I
Rhoback.
made a decent deal.
The Rhoback dog of the week. As always, we are all outfitted by Rhoback. Grab your gear this football season. Go to rhoback.com. Use code football for 20% off your first purchase. That's 20% off all polos, shorts, hoodies, and more with code football. Dave, who is your dog of the week?
Maryland at home. I think Penn State stinks. I think James Franklin is so obsessed with Michigan that they're not going to be paying attention to this game. They play Michigan the week after. He's seeing ghosts. He's hearing goblins. It's Halloween night every night for James Franklin. The boogeyman, he's afraid of him. I think they are sleepwalking in Maryland. Maryland beats them. Dog of the week.
Dan?
Plus 9.5.
My dog of the week is the entire MAC conference. MACtion is back. Last night I watched every single snap of 1-7 Kent State versus 1-7 Akron. It was awesome. It was a great game. These guys, listen, it's not the most beautiful football, but it's the funniest football, and I love MACtion so much, and it's great to have it back.
You know what was so funny is when we did the pro football show and Clinton Portis heard you guys talking about betting on 2
Yeah.
1-7 teams. He was like, I can't hang with you guys. if
Yeah,
you're
Clinton
betting."
Portis, Dave, was disgusted when I was like, yeah, I watched 1-7 versus 1-7.
And he was
He's
like,
why?
He said he's going to block your
You
number.
don't understand, dude. It's MACtion,
the best.
baby.
Yeah, he said he's going to block your number because he doesn't want to hear about 1-7 bets. Okay, Brandon, what is your dog of the week?
So in the Big 12, you have Texas is 4-1. You have Oklahoma State is 4-1. You have Oklahoma 4-1. Iowa State, who was terrible to start the season, they're also 4-1. They're in the mix for everything. Kansas, coming off the win against Oklahoma, has to go on the road to Iowa State. Iowa State minus 2.5.
That's not a dog. Why are you doing your proper
What
pick?
did I? Oh, I did my proper pick. Fuck.
Jesus Christ.
I was on the
Brandon.
wrong. Damn it.
He's thinking about
Michigan.
Michigan, too.
No, I was thinking about Michigan.
Michigan.
You're right. Sorry.
Michigan.
I didn't say Michigan.
Michigan.
I didn't say Michigan.
Michigan.
Michigan's got you guys all in.
You're rattled.
Unbelievable.
I have a double dog of-
They can't even function.
I'm wearing a beautiful
Michigan.
Rhoback. I gotta do my sponsors.
Michigan.
Okay.
Michigan.
I have a double dog of the week.
Okay,
Double dog of the week.
let's try it again.
And it is in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Ollie Gordon, one of the best players in the country. He is leading the country in rushing. He's only played 4 games. Leading the country in rushing. The number 2 guy has 55 more carries than Ollie Gordon has. Ollie Gordon and Oklahoma State plus 5.5. Double dog in Stillwater, Oklahoma.
There you go. Okay, Ev, who is your dog of the week?
What's funny, we just spent so much time talking about it. I'm taking Clemson. And they get right. I think they win. They're catching at 2.5 or 3. I think they win. All the talk this week with Dabo, he said the guy from Spartanburg or whatever, and then get back on track. I don't think they're not obviously not as good as they have been. They're not nearly as bad as I think people think they are. I mean, a couple of bad bounces, they should have beat Florida State at home. At home here, I mean, think it was the same. This is the same line pretty much. Florida State now it's Notre Dame. I mean, give me Clemson. Clemson wins.
It kind of sucks for like the storyline because going into the season, we would have obviously thought in Week 10 we'd be talking about Notre Dame Clemson as one of the top games of the week, and it wasn't. So it's a weird spot for the Clemson fans. Okay, Brandon, I have to do this. I'm making Tommy Walker my dog of the week. And Dan, I don't know if you've seen this.
I saw it.
Dave,
Smart boy.
Live on our podcast, Tommy Walker broke Brandon's heart and came out as an Alabama fan and has disavowed the Walker family and will not be a Mississippi State fan.
Oh, no.
Well, that's smart. That's like his mother, who is a lovely woman, Brandon's mother. So why would anybody want their son to be a Mississippi State fan?
Why would
over an
anybody
Alabama
value loyalty? And why
Well,
would
your mother is an Alabama
I
fan.
don't care about my mom. All right, who cares
So
about
why
my
weren't
mom?
you loyal? Why weren't you loyal?
To what?
Your mother.
I grew up 15 minutes from the gates of Mississippi State University, and she won't tell anybody. She worked at Mississippi State University, okay? She worked there, and she was an Alabama fan. But I love Mississippi State. I will always love Mississippi State, and I don't love teams because they win. I love them because they're my team. I'm a Mississippi State guy. Fuck Alabama forever.
I will say
respect
that
that,
it broke my heart for you because I can't imagine if one day my son came in and was
fixing it.
like, I'm not an A&M fan. I would be so sad.
He's not getting any money if he does Alabama stuff. So no, he's cut out. He's cut off.
My dad did say that if I went to Texas, he'd cut me off.
I'll take care of him.
You're not going to take care of my. No.
If he goes to Alabama,
No, ain't nobody taking care of nobody. I got
just
my
walked into
kids.
that.
No.
Don't let Tommy Walker hear that Dave will take care of him if he goes to Alabama.
if
'cause you
he's
just
going to
fucked yourself.
Alabama,
Tommy Walker's a ride or die too, Dave. Ride or die. When
he's going to Alabama.
When we landed at the airport a few weeks ago, he was picking up Brandon, and I gave him.
Well, he'll have to call me daddy.
And I gave him $100, and I told him, don't tell your dad what I gave you. Wouldn't squeal.
I watched that happen, and I was like, is he really not
He's
going
ride
to
or
tell?
die. He's ride or die.
Brandon is.
I'll be his uncle. Daddy Portnoy and Uncle Big Cat.
Yep.
Oh, no.
I don't. What's the next topic?
Well, you've already spoiled your next topic, so do you just want to move on?
Go on.
Okay, so the proper picks presented by Proper Number 12 Irish Whiskey, rich and smooth Proper Number 12 Irish Whiskey. For every bottle sold, a donation is made to support our brave first responders. Order your bottle now of Proper Number 12 Irish Whiskey from Drizly today. Big Cat Pour the Roar. I will say I am abysmal at these this year. I suck so badly. Hopefully you will have better luck than me.
I'm getting hot. I'm getting
You're getting
hot. Proper 12. I've won, I think, 3 in a row. Proper Number 12 Irish Whiskey. The Irish apple is delicious. I will take my shot.
Pour that roar.
Delicious. And then I will take Ole Miss at home, -3 against Texas A&M. Ole Miss's defense is legit. And do you still think you're going to win this Egg Bowl?
Of course, I think we're going to win the Egg Bowl.
Okay.
Unless we need to lose to fire our coach and move somewhere else.
Well, see, that's the pickle that I'm in, is that I don't want the fans,
I
the
think
team.
Texas A&M might beat Ole Miss.
Well, I don't want the players
fine.
to lose. I don't want the fans to lose, but I want Jimbo to lose. So I am in a pickle.
I think you're too far. I don't think you're firing him this year. I don't think.
No.
You're 5-3, right? You're five. Like you might
Texas
finish-
A&M fans think that they're a 10-win team.
might
They've won
finish
10
8-4.
wins once in the last 20
That's
years.
not the
And
point.
they're like,
The
"Well,
point is
why
the man
isn't
doesn't
Jimbo
care.
winning 10
Dan,
wins?"
the guy got paid almost $100 million and said the goal is to win a bowl game or to go to a bowl game. That
Yeah,
is
you gotta
pathetic.
set baby
That's
steps.
loser
This
shit.
year,
Baby steps.
That's
Yeah.
loser shit.
That is a crazy quote.
Okay. Oh, the standings are here. So let's put those up.
Yeah, I'm getting hot.
Yes, you are getting hot. Yes,
Getting hot.
as I said, I'm abysmal. So, Dave, you are winning 6-3. What is your pick?
Yeah, I forget. Sometimes I'm changing. I may have had Northwestern last week, but I like Northwestern again. They're better than I thought they would be this year. Credit to them. I thought once the whole Pat Fitzgerald and that controversy went crazy, that would be the end of the program. They're playing tough. They were 2-touchdown dog that beat Maryland last week. This game, Iowa, going to go to the end. I think they win again. I'm taking Northwestern.
Brandon, you've already done yours. So would you like to?
I'm just going to repeat it.
Okay, repeat it, yes.
Kansas, Iowa State, all that stuff I said earlier, just transfer it over here. Iowa State -2.5 against Kansas.
Okay. When this goes out on social media as its own pick, they're gonna be like, "Why didn't he elaborate?" Well, it's because you just did it
like
all
that
for the
pick, Brandon.
for the wrong segment. Okay,
Good
Ev,
spot.
your pick.
Yeah, I like Oklahoma State here. I agree. I don't think Oklahoma's very good. I'll gladly take the points at home. Last battling with them in the same conference. Give me Oklahoma State.
I'm going to take Utah against Arizona State. Arizona State hasn't won on the road since last October. I believe right now the number is at 11. Utah is going to be motivated after losing to Oregon. Again, I'm really bad at this, so I'm just praying that Utah can get it
That's
done.
a dangerous pick there.
I know. I've won 2 this year.
Arizona State's pretty good.
Yeah, they're playing very good ball.
I'm still going to take it. I'm taking it. I have to do it. Viva La Hooters Top 10. Head over to your local Hooters and tweet a picture of your wings with hashtag Viva La Hooters to win a trip to the national championship. We will also choose one person weekly to win a $50 gift card to the Barstool store. We have the Hooters girls coming in. I could smell the wings like as soon as they smell so good. As soon as the girls walked in, they are over there with Ev. Ev, what do you got this week?
I'm here with the lovely Hooters girls. We're tasting different flavors each week. This week's flavor, honey Thai chili pepper. Sounds delicious. Download the Hooters app and enter coupon code Barstool23 for $5 off your order of 15 or more. Valid at participating locations only, so check with your local Hooters. Barstool23, $5 off. Honey Thai chili pepper.
Every
Smells
single time
fantastic.
the girls walk in with those wings, I immediately get hungry. They smell so good. So let's unveil our communal top 10. Now we do have the college football playoff rankings already. We know that Ohio State came in at number 1. Let's see what we ranked this week. Okay, so Georgia, Ohio State, Florida State, Michigan, Washington, Oregon, Texas, Alabama, Penn State, and Oklahoma.
I have a complaint.
Well, go ahead.
On my poll, I included an asterisk by Michigan for cheating, and I asked that it be included on the communal poll. I think the asterisk should be there.
Why are you complaining to me about that?
I'm just complaining out loud because
general,
we're
okay.
on the show, and there should be an asterisk by Michigan for being dirty-ass cheaters.
I have a complaint.
What's your complaint, Dan?
Air Force is a top 10 team. I don't know why they're not there. I put them in my top 10. They're undefeated. Shout out Air Force.
Ev, do you have any complaints?
Troops.
No.
As we're all complaining. I mean, Dave, any complaints for you?
No, I'm one of those guys. The poll, great, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, this comes down to Michigan's going to take care of their business. I'm worried about Georgia. That's going to be a great game. Winner of that one wins the national title. If we can't get them this year, we're never going to get them.
You're never going to get them.
Yeah, it's just...
You don't break through till you break through.
It's true.
It's a good point.
That
It
is
a
a
good
very
phrase,
good point. Brandon, go ahead and why don't you have one? And I want to see...
I also think anyone who's like... I love Taylor Luan, but he was like, why is Michigan not number 1?
Yeah.
No, well, he's a dummy though. He's one of those guys who played and I love him, a Michigan guy. The guys who played football their whole lives, they don't like they'll reveal their actual knowledge of football like, once every couple weeks. That was just one of those.
Yeah, I mean, Ohio State
tweets,
should be the number 1 team in
Yeah, I
the
have no
country.
problem with it.
Yeah.
No problem with it.
Here's my question, Dan, for you with that, because obviously Ohio State has the best resume. So then if they are looking at that, why wouldn't Washington be in the top 4 because of Oregon? Like, that confused me a little bit.
Well, they're 5, right?
Right, but I'm saying if you look at resume, I mean, they clearly have
But
a
it's
better
not
resume.
just resume, it's combination.
Well, no,
Well,
I
and
know,
also
but I'm saying,
Washington's only big win is Oregon.
but who's Florida State's big win?
Florida State beat LSU.
Okay, who's Georgia's big win?
Georgia has
Michigan's
kicked
big
the
win?
shit out of
National title.
Kentucky, and who did they just beat last week? Florida.
Michigan's big win.
Michigan doesn't have a big win.
So that I'm just...
UNLV.
But Michigan's
Oh,
been
UNLV.
killing
Yes.
teams.
No, I'm not-
I have no problem with it. Washington, they've been playing close games. I have no problem with Washington being number 5.
Well, and
they have
it'll
one win at home.
It's all going to take care of
Yeah, it'll
itself.
all shake itself out.
Michigan's going to beat the fuck out of Penn State. We're going to beat the fuck out of Ohio State, and then we'll be in the playoffs.
Without cheating?
Well, yeah, if they win those 2 games, then you'll have to
This is disgusting.
blood oath.
Well, they're not going
Yes,
to win those.
you-
Why?
I'm disgusted by
It's
it.
not.
Then,
it's not
then
that
you'll be
you're-
right, Brandon. You'll be right.
I'm going to be right.
It's going to be a great game. I
great
can't wait
game.
for them to play it.
I know it's going to be
And
exciting.
watch it all. You guys going to live stream or just clips? We need to figure out a live stream.
Michigan. Michigan.
Thanksgiving in
Take a
Miami.
big dump in his
Michigan.
house?
Boom.
Yeah, you got to take a big dump in his house.
Big.
Don't worry, I got a little like in-law help.
You need
area.
to also just be in his pool the whole time.
Yes.
Am I staying at the house, Dave, or at the hotel and coming for the game?
I don't know. We'll figure it out. I will figure it out, Big F. Don't you
I
worry
would like
about
to
it.
maybe dip in the pool.
It's going to be quite a weekend. So next week we are heading back out on the road. We do not know what time the show is yet because it's a TV flex, but we will be at TCU for Texas at TCU in Fort Worth. I will say that
When do they tell us what time this game is?
Monday.
It's killing
Monday.
my schedule.
Monday, because it's the 6-day window. The spot for this game or for this show that we have is right in front of the stadium. It's going to be awesome.
Love it.
It's going to be great. So we will be there. And of course, as you're watching this, we don't know the time yet, but pay attention to all the social media announcements and we will see you in Fort Worth. Anything else, guys?
No.
No.
Great show.
Great show.
Love college football.
All right. See you guys next week.
Michigan. Michigan. Michigan.